All right, today we're going to tackle a huge idea, the innovation myth. We've all been told that to get ahead, you have to disrupt, you have to create the next big thing. But what if the actual numbers show that pretty much our entire economy, like 97% of it, runs on something completely different? I mean, you hear this word everywhere, right? It's in every meeting, every business article. It's held up as the ultimate goal, to disrupt the market.
And then there's this one. Embrace change, drive change. It's talked about like it's the only constant, the only way to move forward.
Yeah, this is the message that gets drilled into us, from business school all the way to the boardroom. The story is always about pushing forward, being the one who creates something new, something groundbreaking. And that brings us to the big question we're digging into today. What if the most valuable work, the work that actually keeps our world from falling apart, isn't about innovation at all? So to get to the bottom of this, we can't just rely on buzzwords. We've got to look at the cold, hard numbers. And the data, well, it reveals a fundamental truth about our economy that's been hiding in plain sight. Okay, so check this out. When we look at R&D spending, that's research and development, the countries we think of as these huge innovators, they're right at the top. You've got Israel, South Korea, Taiwan, but the number I really want you to focus on is the average for all developed economies, the OECD average.
Yeah, it's just 2.7%. Just let that sink in for a second. It's a surprisingly small number, isn't it?
So here's the thing. All that talk, all that hype about disruption and radical change, on average, it's being funded by less than 3% of the entire economy. That's the entire innovation slice of the pie.
And of course, that tiny 2.7% has a massive flip side. It means a whopping 97.3% of all economic activity, we're talking all jobs, all salaries, is focused on something other than creating the new.
Which leads to the obvious next question, right? Where does all that money, all that effort, all that human talent actually go?
Well, it goes into what we can call the system maintenance economy. And look, whether we're talking about that 97% global average or the 96% you see in a high-tech powerhouse like Taiwan, this is the reality for the vast majority of people.
So what is it exactly? Well, it's all the stuff that makes sure existing things keep working. It's not about inventing the next smartphone. It's about making sure the one you have actually has a signal. It's not about designing a new banking app. It's about making sure your paycheck deposit goes through perfectly every single time. And this chart just lays it all out, doesn't it? It shows the incredible imbalance. Our whole culture is obsessed with that tiny little sliver of innovation. We give awards for it, we write books about it, but the real engine of the world is that massive 97.3% that's just keeping the lights on. Let's make this super real. Take Taiwan. It has one of the highest R&D spends on the planet, 4%, thanks to its insane semiconductor industry. But even there, in this hub of innovation, 96% of the economy, 96% of all jobs and paychecks comes from keeping existing systems running smoothly. So what is this maintenance work? Honestly, it's everything that makes our modern lives possible. It's the power grid staying on. It's your credit card transaction going through without a hitch. It's the factory that makes the exact same perfect part a million times over. It's the logistics network that gets food to the grocery store on time every single day. It's the very foundation of society. Okay, so if our economy is really 96% maintenance, what does that actually mean for you, for your career? It means we need to seriously rethink which skills are the most valuable. Let's just put these skills side by side. On one hand, we celebrate the innovation skills, right? Creativity, breaking the rules, seeking variation. But look at the skills needed for that 96% economy. Patience, perseverance, being meticulous, and the discipline to follow procedures. These aren't just soft skills, they're the absolute bedrock of a stable economy. And here is the absolute kicker. Innovation is completely 100% dependent on maintenance. That groundbreaking 4% of chip design in Taiwan, it is only possible because a massive 96% workforce guarantees an unbelievable level of precision and quality day in and day out. The 4% literally can't exist without the 96%. This quote just nails the whole idea. For most of us, our real value doesn't come from some once-a-year creative lightning bolt. It comes from the day-in, day-out, relentless application of precision, care, and discipline. That's what makes you indispensable. So, where do we land with all of this? It's really about changing how we see our own value and our own contribution.
It's about shifting our focus away from the noise of disruption and toward the quiet power of stability.
Now, I want to be super clear here. Nobody is saying innovation is a bad thing. Of course not. It's essential for progress. The problem is our culture has developed this almost religious worship of it, and in the process, we've completely ignored the colossal foundation that it's built on. The goal is to bring some balance back.
So the real takeaway is this. For the vast majority of us, true lasting success isn't about trying to be some disruptive genius. It's about becoming a master of your craft, becoming an absolutely reliable, meticulous, and indispensable part of that 96% that allows everything else to happen. And that leaves us with one last question to think about for yourself. In your own work, where do you really create value? Is it in the chaotic chase for that 4% of change? Or is it in the disciplined perfection of the 96% that gives the world the stability it desperately needs? The answer might just change how you see success.